is the Houses of Parliament, and the Prime Minister has his residence. I always like to stop and show the herring stand that's open, so you can have raw herring. Looks like he's preparing for lunch. Alright, so I was trying to share that the Super Bowl isn't really paying much attention to here. We do not plan to stay up until the wee hours of the morning to watch the game. Or not, but there's a lot of wind here today.
Oh, kids are making snowmen.
Oh yeah, let's go over by the pretty novel experience for lots of locals here. You don't often get this much snow. This is funny. Last night they were on the news talking about the snowstorm coming and preparing, and they were showing a video not unlike our KCRG broadcast that we watch, with the weatherman talking about preparing for the big storm, and they had a video of
snowplows. They call them grinter.
Yeah, they don't call them sand tractors. They call them grinter. Which makes sense. So this corner here, that's the Prime Minister's office. So I'll walk here by the Mauritshuis, see the Plein, maybe take you on a part of the Hague that I haven't shown before. We've seen a few sleds this morning, kids. What?
supposed to snow all day, or most of the day, although probably pretty light, so we'll see what our final total is. I bet we get another centimeter or so. Yeah, and I know this is nothing compared to what y'all have had back in Iowa, but this is the first time they've had snow here in 2 years, I believe, and also the first big snow like this. They named this winter storm Darcy.
Yeah, it's a named storm.
So this is the first big snow they've had in like about 10 years. Dutch television.
Here, I'm going to do a 360. Just stand there, honey, and kind of get the other perspective. Okay, let's go into a mirror.
Because there's very few that are open anyway, but you know, the little markets.
For takeaway, yeah.
Yeah. Early because they don't open up till 12 or 1. Baby view.
Happy Toasty. I don't know what you recall the Happy Toasty here where we ate last Thanksgiving. Spar is open. This is like a little neighborhood grocery store with bigger than a 7-Eleven, but pretty typical small little grocery with takeaway foods and some fresh produce and that sort of stuff.
The Austrian bakery's open.
Yeah, it has those really good pretzels. I like.
Yeah, the hack that we did one time is it's not quite the soft pretzels in the U.S., but we got them, we cut them into little pieces, brushed them with some olive oil, salt, toasted them in the oven, and then attempted to make Hub 217 cheese dip, beer cheese dip, so it wasn't too bad, so we'll try that again sometime.
Yeah, that was really good. These little bakeries that sell coffee and then the bakery items. They're being.
This is a mirror. We're not saying a mirror, but a mirror. You go left.
Yeah, this is one of our favorite restaurants. This is a Lebanese restaurant.
Probably the best hummus I've ever had outside of Israel.
And we're heading now towards the train station. We might as well walk to the train
Why
station.
not?
We'll pass, if we're not able to get the apartment that we're in currently, our second choice apartment is coming up here on the right. And the interior was we would have been the first people to live in it with the brand new interior. They completely redid the interior. It's a historically historic building. One of the owners, the original owner of the building that we're going to go by here in a bit, was one of the people. Yeah, that's true. One of the people that was painted in the Night Watchman, Rembrandt's Night Watch, it's called. At any rate, so this was this is from the 1600s, and we loved the apartment interior. Had everything we wanted.
It was gorgeous. It was an amazing kitchen, even really good kitchen by American standards.
Had 3 toilets, which is unheard of. Had everything that we wanted, except we liked the part of town that we're in now better than here.
This would have been a little too busy and noisy, I think, and not as convenient to everything.
And it was really, you'll see that it's making a...
And you try again. Okay, this one's going to go a little better for snowball.
Don't throw at me.
Yeah. Nope. It's not good snowball. It's okay, I would have thrown it at you like it would have, my aim is terrible.
Okay, so this building to the right is what I was talking about. Is historic in the 1600s.
Poor people on the bikes that are stuck.
Oh yeah, she's right in the snow. Only in the Netherlands. I'm sorry. Taking it slow and easy. Didn't see anybody wipe out. That's good. So we have others get on the sled.
Yeah. Little girls.
Very cool. And that's the most popular sort of sled that we've seen. The old-fashioned wooden. You don't see the what I would say
see
that
the
would add
plastic ones.
the plastic ones and so forth. Cool. So this would be the apartment that we looked at. You can see it's still for rent. There, it's just beautiful in there, and it has 2 floors, and it had just everything we were looking for, fireplace, but we didn't like the location as much, so we're very happy with where we are. So we came up to a canal. I'm sure that there's no ice yet on the canals, but the locals are getting excited because we're supposed to have a sustained cold spell here, well below 0, and so locals are really looking for waters out of their sled. So we're looking forward to the canals freezing over and ice skating. We noticed one of the Dutch TV stations last night. We could, of course, it's all in Dutch. I couldn't understand what they were saying, but I could tell that they were interviewing people and shops that went up and sell ice skates.
Just because it looks frozen, it's like, well, the measures it to make sure that it's safe enough.
Okay, I'm going to pause here and look at the canal.
Take a step forward, Andy.
Okay. So, let's keep going here. So I'll look this way. That's kind of an interesting. In the distance, you can see the tram going over the canal bridge. And looking back where we came from. Okay, so let's head towards the train station. Catch up with Arlene. So there are 2 train stations in Den Haag. We're walking to the central station, where it's the station that we use all the time. And this is almost anywhere here from this train station. The other train station is called Holland Spoor, and for us it's not as not as convenient for us. In this part of the Hague, where we are now, to our right is where a lot of the big modern buildings are. So it's a pretty drastic change from the old buildings to skyscrapers, and it reminds me a lot of Des Moines in terms of the size and the feel of it. It feels not too big.
Bigger, but it doesn't feel any bigger.
Yeah. Alright, so here is the Babylon complex. I'm going to pause here for a second, Arlene. So when Arlene first started coming here on business trips for 2 weeks at a time, quarterly trips,
Most often stayed.
straight ahead. Complex. Wow. So that modern complex there is a hotel that would stay at, and I luckily got to come a few times. We really liked it there. We're looking at some of the high-rise apartments to live there. There's the tram going by. Okay, so there's a brave bicyclist. Let's walk into the train station. So, there's construction that's been going on here for years. Underneath this fenced-in area to our left is a indoor, underground, very contemporary, very modern bicycle parking storage area. And so continues to be lots of construction, but or below us, below our feet right now, is a huge underground bicycle storage area. Into the train station. I'm curious if the trains are running today. Often if it gets too wet and windy and snowy, the trains shut down. So we'll find out. Put yours on then. This is a pretty fascinating building. Of course, all forms of transport terminate here. Catch buses and trams. There's a metro system. There's the trains. It's multi-level, so you can see trams on this level. There's also trams on the next level up. The trains are on this level. Buses, you have to catch the bus. You have to go up another level. The same thing's true with catching the metro. So Harley's putting her mask on. where Arlene gets her hair cut, up here at
What's this haircut you talked about? I haven't been. Last one was 3 months ago, but he's going to color my hair today.
tell the story about how you met your hairdresser here.
Oh yeah, we were on the tram and we were talking, and she was sitting ahead of us. This is before things got quite so bad. It's when we first got here, and she said, "Oh, struck up a conversation." She knew we were American. Said she was American. She was a hairdresser from California, and just mentioned her name. And then she got off at the next stop, and so I looked her up and luckily found her. I was happy with what she did with my hair the one time, so I'll look forward to going back to her when I can.
All right. I think the trains are shut down. Yep. Typically, this is just a bustling place, but let's go look at the board and see what the advice is.
This is for announcements, is what it says.
Yeah. So I'm sure nothing's. Yeah, no trains. These are where you get your ticket. It's all automated. We have something now that's really cool. We have, it looks like a credit card, like an ID with our picture on it. And we just go over here to use the train, and we scan there, and it automatically deducts. Actually, you scan it at the beginning of your trip. You get on whatever train you want, and then when you get off the trip, the train at your destination, you scan again, and then it automatically calculates what the cost is. And it's called an OV chip card, and it's really cool. We have it linked to our bank account so that it automatically tops up. So when it gets low, and when we get less than maybe 10 euros in there, it'll top back up to 50 euros. So
it's like the Illinois toll tags. Yeah, you set it for when you want it to automatically replenish, and it'll do it. Pretty easy.
All right, well, shall we head? Let's go by the Grote Markt. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, it's the first time I've ever seen the train station closed.
Yep, all I could pick out was no trains, take the bus and use the app to plan the route.
Okay. My glasses are fogging up the stairs. Yeah. This guy's with his luggage. I think he's going to be disappointed, but there's no trains.
Get a taxi. They're running.
All right. So now let's head. million tulips for Kuchenhof. So I'm looking forward to the Tulip Festival. Man, oh man, there's a snow tornado there. Saying up north they were expecting up to about 55 mile an hour. Let's cross over here into the easier to walk street. Okay, so we're kind of in a, oops, I don't want to do that.
What'd you do?
Sorry about that. The wind cut my phone gizmo thing here, so. Ocean. Pretty constant winds. Riding our bikes, we always take note of that. So there's a store here to the left called Action, which is closed because of lockdown.
But you can just get a variety of everything. It's like where you get your dishwashing detergent and laundry detergent, and it's half price of what you get at the supermarket.
Speaking of supermarkets, next door here is a Albert Heijn, which is by far the most common grocery store. This is kind of one, like in the center here. It's a smaller one, kind of like a Hy-Vee. We shop at Albert Heijn. It's about a 15-20 minute walk away, or 5-minute bike ride. And then there's two other ones that are about a 5 to 7 minute walk away, but they're very small, like this one is. Bikes are going to have trouble when they hit that wind, I think. So in front of us is this really big white building. And that's the building that houses all the city government. So when we first arrived here, we had to register with the government, with the local municipality. So our the Settle Service is the name of a company that Aegon employed to help us with all the details of moving. And very nice lady from Settle Service picked us up at our temporary apartment within a few days of us being here, and brought us down here, and we had to go inside and be interviewed by local officials here, and then they took our fingerprints and took our picture, and then we were eventually approved for residence. So once we had approval for the residence, then we could open up a Dutch bank account. And then after we had the Dutch bank account, we could start looking for permanent housing. So the whole process started coming here, and we were very thankful that we had assistance from the Settle Service. They helped us with everything.
Be careful.
Ooh. There's an interesting thing. A lot of the police departments they have vans rather than we're used to seeing cruisers and SUVs back home.
So for my Trans-America friends, if anyone's actually still watching this long thing, then walk like a penguin today, just like they tell us across the parking lot.
Yes. Thankful I brought my waterproof boots. I didn't think I was going to need them because it's rare to snow here. We were told before we moved.
I have to giggle at the number of adults that I've seen just walking around when they have like snow pants on.
So again, the white building to my left is the City Hall. Oh, okay, so this says, you see there, it says International Center, and that's the room that we went into to get registered with the local municipality. The Jeep must be an expat. To the right, this kind of a brownish grayish building is the Ministry of Defense.
Really suffering.
I'd stay over here on the side. As we are looking for apartments, one of the realtors suggested that we look at a high-rise apartment. So we came down here and looked inside. It would have been the tall building in front of us there. We didn't like it, but it was interesting to see. Yeah.
I need to stop for a minute. Just
Okay. Maybe when we get back, the polar bear guy will have his polar bear suit on. And
we should today. So, okay, I'm good.
You good?
Yep.
All right, I'll follow you. There's an Uber Eats food delivery guy in this by school just went by. It's a store called American Today. They sell American clothes. Yeah, clothes, jeans that are, I'm sure, intended to look like Americans that they see on television. It's all closed because of lockdown.
I think there's ice under this.
Hmm?
I'm pretty sure there's ice under the snow.
Yeah, there is. There's ice. There are bicycles. All through the Christmas season until recently, straight ahead. straight ahead that they've taken away since, a temporary one. It was really popular. They sold something called oliebollen, which are basically fried dough balls that they cover in powdered sugar and other flavorings. But it's gone now. And I noticed also they've taken down the Christmas lights, so it's looking a little less festive. Parking here. It's pretty cool sculptures here. We're still in front of the City Hall. Alright, so we'll head big movie theater.
I can't imagine going through this without decent boots. It was pretty slippery back there, even with my
You might hear in the distance the iconic European either ambulance or police or fire siren. Even the policemen are taking a picture of the. Actually, these are, I'm sure they're like officials that monitor and enforce rules. I think they're like making sure that people are not driving through here. And typically on a normal weekend day, this area is thriving. There's lots and lots of people. It's a pedestrian and bicycle only area, although they can have vehicles, special vehicles, service vehicles and such that can come through. We're coming up to what I call the Beehive, or what the locals call the Beehive. Its real name is what, Arlene?
Bijenkorf.
Bijenkorf, and it's a
very nice department store.
Like the luxury department store, on par with, I don't know, whatever the fanciest department stores are.
Nordstrom's probably.
Yeah,
It's not quite a Saks. You know, maybe hints of Saks, but definitely Nordstrom's maybe a little bit of a Saks Fifth Avenue.
But they have all the luxury brands in there, and a very popular place to shop. Oh, Bob Snell, that's where your sweater came from. So up here, coming up to the left here is what, your sweater that took 8 weeks to.
No, his only took 6. Addison's
6 weeks, okay.
Yeah, that's another story. So our 4 packages that we mailed to the U.S. on December 7th, they took 6, 6.5, 7, and 8 weeks to arrive in Iowa.
So this starts the Beehive. One of the things I really enjoyed, they had really cool window displays, kind of like what you'd see in New York City at the,
oh yeah,
what is it, Macy's?
For Christmas. Yeah, Macy's, well, Saks Fifth Avenue.
Saks Fifth Avenue, yeah.
Yeah, nice window displays. It's much easier to walk here. It was just whatever the pavement material back there was awful.
Yeah. So the guy to the left there, you may have noticed, was smoking. He was actually smoking a marijuana cigarette, which you don't see very often here in The Hague, but he was certainly doing that.
Coffee shops always have lines, so they're certainly buying it.
Yeah, the coffee shops have been opened. They've been popular. Okay. Should we go to the Grote Markt, Erling?
Speaking of coffee shops, coffee stores, which would be like Starbucks, the Starbucks we just passed was closed, so it's bad enough that even Starbucks is closed.
Oh, this is kind of cool. If we were not going to do it now, but if we were to turn left, that's the beginning of the Haag's Chinatown.
It's like in China, a couple blocks really.
Yeah,
but
there's
it's not very big.
a neighborhood there that's some good Chinese food, we're told, and a couple of gates like this. And then if you continue that way, that's where the Holland Spoor, another policeman coming by, Holland Spoor train station is. So we biked there. Was it
Yesterday.
yesterday? Gosh, we biked down through that neighborhood and bought a couch down. It's supposed to be delivered in a week or two.
Yeah, we looked online, and so we went there just to take care of the settlement of it.
The paperwork. So
Yeah. And so this is another grocery store. It looks like Jumbo, but they pronounce the J's Y, so it's Jumbo. I see they're getting a delivery.
yeah.
Just like at home, when there's a snowstorm, we saw pictures posted that there's no bread, there's no milk, there's no eggs. They're out of everything yesterday.
Fire truck. And to the left here is a store called Media Mart that we've come to a couple of times. This sells, it's like a Best Buy. It sells everything from electronic goods, well, like computers and audio
Space
and
heaters.
video, and to like
Air fryers, refrigerators,
washers, dryers,
everything.
So we bought a few things here. Got it. Of course, electronic current is different, or U.S. Electronic things that aren't like phones and iPads and laptops and so forth can't be used here. So anything that has a motor in it, or anything that has a heating element to it, or lighting, doesn't work. So we had to buy a coffee maker and a couple of space heaters and fans and
Food processor, crock pot.
all that kind of stuff. So prices are real reasonable. It's really nice. You can go online and order like at 10 o'clock at night, and it'll be delivered by noon the next day sometimes. So let's cross over here. So going down here would take you to the tram. I believe it's an
2, 3, 4, and 6.
the tram. This part of the city is underground, kind of like a subway, and then it pops back up over here. Let's walk by Harry, whatever the guy's name is.
Harry, or probably say Harry.
Yeah.
Harry looks a little cold.
Yeah. So this is the Grote Markt. Grote Markt. My Dutch is not very good. Really.
Yes.
So get it here. I'll get the front of him. Get a kick out of it. Oh, you get somebody's feeding the birds. So this is kind of a iconic symbol of The Hague. This is based upon a cartoon series, I think, from the local. Oh, and he's got the Dutch sense of humor. You'll see the pile of poo to the side of him there, and look on his face. And then if you turn around, Harry here, you'll see his commentary.
Kind of appropriate now with Corona, now, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think you'd see that as a public statue.
If you go just
Back
to the
home.
right, there's one of the Corona
Yeah,
testing
so right
sites.
here is a Corona testing site there. And then, as I scan through, once again, I say this so often, but
This place
during
is
normal times
hopping.
it's just hopping They have this whole square would be filled full of tables and outdoor seating, and there's bars and restaurants all through here. In the distance, you can see
Is that St. Jacobskerk?
St. Jacob's Church, yeah, Grote Kerk. And so we're not far from home. So let's walk this way.
Which way?
So below us is the tram station. Again, in this part of the town, some of the trams are underground. Careful here of the slippery earning.
It's not as bad as it was over the other place.
Puppies.
Oh, maybe Starbucks was open.
Saat 5'te mi? 5-6'da, 5-6.
So we walk by here often when Arlene has a lunch break. We'll walk down here and grab a bite to eat and walk back. And the bells, the clarion is rung on the hour, and then at noon they do a little concert. Some really nice music, and we hear it in our apartment. I think at first when we heard the bells, we thought it was coming from the palace, but
It's not, it's from the Carillon.
it's coming from the clarion here. So a new part of town. Mom and Adam and Bob and other people that we haven't shown you before. So
There's Turfmarkt, a little Turkish pizza place.
coming up here, here comes a sled. Wipe out.
This would be the stupid young adult man. Sorry, not your profile, but having fun.
It all seems a little bit drab because everything's kind of closed up, but it's still a neat area.
You get tattoos and piercings when they open up. Just kidding.
All right, so I'm going to pause up here at a store that, of course, the Netherlands are famous for their reputation for the marijuana. There's a store up here somewhere that sells. Here it is. It's called a Smart Shop, and I learned this from Rick Steves. Those of you that know who Rick Steves is talked about this, but this is a shop that sells drugs. In America, these would all be illegal drugs, but these are drugs that are legal here because they're natural based. So, like